The Attention Star is a new clean and responsive asymmetric ball coming from Roto Grip on February 16th, and this in-depth report will tell you everything you need to know about it, and most importantly, if and where it will fit in your bag. Drop down in the comments after the video and let me know what you think of the new format. Tobias is bowling on the Kegel Chromium lane condition that we always use for testing because it's a good benchmark pattern. Everything hooks and kind of looks the same on a house shot, while most balls aren't designed for fresh sport conditions, but this one's right in the middle. It's not too easy, but it's not too tough. It's got enough length and volume that the stronger balls don't burn up, but weaker balls are still able to hang out on it too, so it really helps us figure out where the balls fit and how they relate and compare to each other. Also have to shout out Royal Crest Lanes for always taking care of us. They're a major part of making these videos happen. I have Tobias's layout information up on the screen in both languages. It's his standard pinup layout for ASIMs. He likes to keep layout simple and consistent, which will let the differences from ball to ball shine through. If you want to learn more about layouts and what the numbers mean, I have Storm's layout system videos linked in the description that explain everything perfectly. Rather than moving zone to zone, Tobias moves a couple boards on every shot to give you a slower and more progressive look as he moves across the lane. I'm going to give you individual shots in regular speed first, followed by the same shot again in slow motion with some running scouting notes and other information in the sidebar as I reference it. Tobias throws everything out of the box to start with to see which direction he needs to go with the surface, so we'll be able to help you figure out whether it's a good idea for you to leave it or whether you might need an adjustment. The Attention Star comes out of the box with Storm's Reactogloss polish, which has had a rocky history but which I've been assured has been fixed, and we'll talk about it more later, but so far so good. While factory gloss of any kind typically isn't great for ball reaction because it usually makes the ball a little too sensitive or over-under, the idea for this ball is to be a cleaner and sharper type of reaction for the early stages of transition where you need length and then a strong move on friction. First, we're going to look at the ball details and stats. The Attention Star features the E-Trax Plus Pearl cover formula, which we saw first on the RSTX2, the hybrid version of which is also currently on the TNT Infused. E-Trax Plus is a medium strength formula, meaning it doesn't get as much traction or hook through the oil, so it skids easier, which also makes it sharper or more responsive to dry, which gives it a stronger motion on the back end. The asymmetric Momentous AV plus AI core features a low 248 RG, a high 049 differential, and a medium-high 017 intermediate differential in 15 pounds. This makes the ball want to roll sooner and rev up more quickly. It's like a figure skater pulling their arms in when they're spinning. They're creating a lower RG, which makes them spin faster, while a higher differential and intermediate differential creates more imbalance in the core, which helps to create a stronger and more dynamic ball motion. The Storm layout videos I referenced that are linked in the description also explain cores and core numbers extremely well with a lot of slides, graphics, and 3D models if you want to learn more about cores as well. The Star has what I'd call a round and rolly reaction shape. Like I mentioned in the review with Zach Rhodes, it's a very Rubicon UC2 type of ball. It's clean and firm down lane, but round and controllable at the same time. It's kind of like an IQ Ruby with a little more torque and boom down lane, similar to the more recent Absolute, or like an earlier rolling UFO Alert. That will make some people happy to hear. The Star is amped up by the AI outer core, which enhances the core strength, makes it earlier, stronger, and heavier rolling, so the core wants to slow the ball speed down to give it more time to hook and make it rev faster, which is balanced well by the cleaner, more medium strength cover that wants to get further down the lane and then have a stronger move on the back end. While this is the first shiny ball review you've seen from Tobias, the last several balls he's thrown out of the box with the Reactogloss polish have been just fine, and I've seen them all myself. No one was more vocal about and critical of Reactogloss than I was, but from everything I've seen and heard, it looks and sounds like it has been fixed. The cover stays dry and tacky, the ball reaction looks great and consistent. It was the same for his TNT Infused, Journey, Sublime, Summit Peak, and the Exponent Pearl. I do have footage for all those that you'll see at some point, all out of the box and all look really good. Again, it's usually best to knock the edge off the factory gloss to make the ball a bit more stable and consistent, but if you like the factory shine like I used to, I think you can roll with these now. However, it's still a little too clean and quick for the fresh on this pattern. That can be solved with a 3000 pad or just by waiting for some transition to show up. That'd help create more stability and help the ball to see more consistent friction rather than skidding so much on the oil and being so responsive or so sharp on the dry. The Star naturally likes angle better. It's a little strong and sharp from the straighter angles, but as he gets deeper, it goes from too early to too long fairly quickly. He did have to make sure he kept it closer to the pocket and didn't give it so much room the deeper he got. But imagine if he started with a Harsh Reality or a Magic Gem, then once the lane started to dry up, he moved into the Star. I think this is a good illustration of the Star wanting or needing to see some friction or a little transition first. That would make it look better from the deeper zones because it's not quite enough ball on the fresh with the factory gloss. The strengths for this ball, I think, would be that combined with some surface adjustments, it's a pretty versatile ball. Strong core but medium strength cover makes it very usable for a wide range of bowlers on a wide range of conditions and stages of transition. You don't have to fight it for length, you don't have to help it move on the back end, but it's not super long or super flippy, so it's still fairly controllable, and it's going to fit on most of the typical conditions you'll see most of the time. It would be at or near the top of your bag for most leagues, still a great kind of prototypical league ball, but on heavier volumes and tougher conditions, it would also be a great first ball down on transition when the track starts to burn up. Then there would be the available friction to help the ball start hooking sooner, which would put it right in its wheelhouse from deeper, and that's where this ball fits the best from a use case perspective. Weaknesses, I think, are that the cover is a little clean and weakish for how strong the core is. Again, it was too much ball from straighter, but went to being not enough ball from deeper pretty quickly. He only had a small zone around third arrow where he didn't either have to help it down the lane or help it back up to the pocket. However, I think that can be solved with a little surface. Again, Reactor Gloss looks just fine, so if it worked for you out of the box, great. I just think for most people, adding a little surface will blend it more and make it more consistent, which will slow it down from straighter, but also give it a little more traction from deeper to help really expand the usage window as far as moving from straighter to deeper goes, and also the amount of conditions it will be effective on. Looking at the chart, I'll say the same things I said in Zach's review. As far as overall strength, while the core is quite strong, the cover is pretty clean and medium strength, so overall it'll be near the top of your bag but definitely below one or two other balls as a cleaner but still strong rolling option in transition. A good amount of length, but obviously the core gets revving and rolling pretty quickly, so not too long, and while it's firm on the back end, it's not as sharp as something like a Theorem or an Endeavor, so it kind of lands in the same place on each line. Medium high on strength, length, and friction response, but by no means extreme in any case. Now we'll talk about where it fits in the bag with a comparison to the Exotic Gem. The point of a comparison is to look at two similar balls on paper and see if and how they differ on reaction. The strength of the Exotic for being a shiny ball can't be understated, and this is why you can't look at the two balls and just see two asymmetric pearls. The cover formula strengths are quite a bit different. The Exotic is earlier, a fair amount stronger, but also slightly slower or smoother than the Star. Where the Star was most comfortable for Tobias from third arrow, it wasn't until he got into fourth with the Exotic that he got comfortable and could consistently get it down the lane and keep it on the right side of the headpin. Other balls up from the Star include the Harsh Reality, Eternity Pie, and the other Gemline balls. Perfect complement sideways is the Absolute Power. The Star is really just a longer and sharper version of it. It makes it a great replacement for the original Absolute as well. Other balls sideways would include the Sublime, TNT Infused, Zen Gold Label, and Summit Peak. Those all have stronger or similar strength covers, but slightly weaker symmetric cores. And balls down from the Star would include the Journey, IQ Ruby, Exponent, and Exponent Pearl. I can't list every ball or cover every angle in one video. I tried, but don't hesitate to hit me up in the comments if you have any questions or need any more specifics. Looking at the chart, the Exotic is as strong as you're going to get a shiny ball. The only other ball for me on the market that matches it is the Archetype Hybrid, but it's a little longer and definitely sharper than the Exotic. The Exotic is also as early as you're going to get a shiny ball. This thing is just a frickin' chugboat. It hits the lane, instantly slowing down very quickly, which helps the big Microtrax formula hook even more. Firm and defined on the back end, not exactly sharp, but a bit slower than the Star. Finally, who will it fit for? And this one is tricky because given the right conditions, any ball could work for anyone, but we're not talking about outliers or trying to create abstract situations to cram it into. We're talking about the best and most natural fits for it. The wheelhouse for this ball is speed and rev matched bowlers on medium length, medium volume conditions, or as a ball down from something stronger in the early stages of transition. If you have higher speed and or lower revs, you're going to need a good amount of friction, and if you have lower speed and or higher revs, you're going to need more volume and more length. I have the review featuring Zach Rhodes linked at the end of this one if you want to look from a slightly higher rev bowler than Tobias. The Attention Star releases with 900 Global's Harsh Reality and Exponent Pearl on February 16th. I have a review for the Harsh featuring Tobias, and of course the Attention Star plus the Exponent Pearl from Zach. The Harsh with Zach and the Exponent Pearl with Tobias are coming soon. Down in the description is a link to Bowler's Mart that will get any of the balls featured in this video ordered for you. I do have to note that I do receive a 5% commission on all sales through the links, and of course don't forget my code ROSEDALL10 to get 10% off your order at checkout at CoolWick. Thanks for watching, and may the strikes be with you.